Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today, yes, we are back with a brand new video. Or today, tonight, to never, depending on when you actually click on today's video, because we're obviously here to talk about a horrific game of football, a horrific European campaign, and a horrific record that is truly embarrassing. As tonight, people, when that full-time whistle went, we were crowned the worst ever team in Champions League history. And if you didn't get a bit of embarrassment for that, I don't know what else to tell you people. And what we're feeling right now as fans is embarrassing. I just hope whatever this club is feeling and the board and the people that's making these decisions feel even worse, because they steered us right in this direction with the lack of everything, investment, drive. We've heard under our previous one, Steven Gerrard, that he didn't really get some. They would never fix the roof before it started to leak, if you will. And this is almost reaped what we saw. We're back in black like Johnny Cash, but where he done it kind of as a fashion statement, we're doing it because it's more European disappointment and a game of football that perfectly summarises the entire European journey, which is outclassed, outfought, outplayed, and genuinely just outworked in nearly every single moment of every single game. And I voiced my opinion. I didn't like Gio coming out after the first game. I thought that set the standard, or set the tone I should say, for the entire group with the defeatist loser mentality of we can't compete at this level. And the rest of the 5 games shows that maybe the players started to believe the manager. Because I don't know if to you, but it certainly played as if a lot of these players believed that they didn't deserve to be at this level. And you just look at any part. You can put any part of any game on, besides maybe a spell in the home game versus Napoli where it looked like we had something about us until a red card. Every other game you've looked at it and just says, nah, there's something wrong. There is. Sorry, you can't quite put your finger on it, but you can look at this Rangers team and say, this isn't the Rangers team we've came to expect. There's no belief, there's no drive, there's no work rate, there's no pressure. There's just gone through the motions looking for the final whistle. That's what it felt like a lot of the time. And that's a shame, because that's how a lot of these players will now be remembered and everything like that, when they should have been remembered for the phenomenal European run. There was a lot of players out their contracts at the end of last season that should have left, despite obviously missing and losing the game at the last thing because of a penalty shootout. But still, they would have been remembered so fondly, and that's when they should have went away, and that's when we should have brought in other people, and that's when we should have injected life into the squad. But we gave players that shouldn't have been given new deals, players that's done new people. And I'm sorry for saying it, but it's done at this level. If we want to keep progressing, we can't keep going back the way. And it was clear as day to me there's a lot of the players that's just done and nowhere near at any more. And it's frustrating, but it was clear to see we've reaped what we've sowed. We have tried to penny pinch, we have tried to take the easy route, and that never gets you anywhere in life when you continue to take the easy decisions. And look what we've been slapped with today, ladies and gentlemen, and slapped with this season, from European finalists and losing out unluckily on penalties to now a European embarrassment. And we shouldn't have put ourselves in this position, and I truly believe we did put ourselves in the position, and the people in charge the club genuinely should be apologising to every single Rangers fan right now, because they steered the ship in this direction with the lack of investment, especially after Cholak's goal that got us in to the Champions League and everything like that. I can understand finances protecting this and that, but when you get that moolah, you've got to spend a little bit back into the squad. And this is even before we start addressing injuries and excuses and everything like that, but we obviously have to address in some way, because you look at this game of football, if we just look at this singly, right, we are against Ajax here. Beating an Ajax side is always going to be difficult, right? Beating an Ajax side, taking the scoreline what we need in that away, with a 40-year-old goalkeeper that was given his send-off in the last game of last season. I don't care what anyone says, I will sit here and argue with you that was Gio giving McGregor his goodbye, and then something's happened in the summer and he's came back. That's a 40-year-old goalkeeper we are relying on right now, with an 18-year-old centre-back who's played about 6 games, who's only playing because 4 other centre-backs are injured. And do you know who's partnered with him? It wasn't a cool, calm, composed competitor, so plenty of games there and everything like that. No, he's sitting next to a 22-year-old American centre midfielder who's playing at centre-half. That's what we're going into these Champions League games with. And Ken, what's in front of them? People, a midfield that's genuinely 876 years old. And I'm not being disrespectful here, people, I'm just saying what I see. Ajax ran all over that, but at the same time, when you look at how we're held together in that game, Professor Xavier would have outrun that midfield, people. The legs in that midfield was genuinely embarrassing, and we should never, ever, ever be playing in the Champions League and playing at this level with that calibre of that. And again, the injuries and that are obviously unlucky in that, but the recruitment sums up for me. We're happy with the squad, we're happy with that. Is absolute nonsense. And I'm not going to turn this into a managerial thing again, because I've had my say and everything. You know how I feel and that, and I know there's excuses about injuries, suspensions, and we've kind of discussed that and everything like that. But the one thing I do want to bring you from what Giovanni has said, and I just want to know your reactions to this, right? After the game, I normally didn't get to see it because I'm normally game, blah, 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 but I've seen it the day, right? His press conference. He's basically said that he's not upset with the lack of backing out because of the finances that's been put out there wasn't exactly what was brought into the football club, all that malarkey. But the thing that I want to talk about the most, people, is he has said, after leading us to becoming the worst ever side in the Champions League history, that his tactics aren't the issue. We just haven't competed for 90 minutes. Like, is that no worrying to you? It's very worrying to me, because that is next level denial and stubbornness. It's like the corner thing already. After every press conference for 3 months, he refused to change it. Then he changed it, and to be fair, we did stop scoring, conceding as many corners overall, as many clear-cut opportunities. It just took us 4 months and 76 corner goals conceded before we actually changed it. And now the fact that he's came out and said that is why I've got the issues and the problems, because that to me is worrying, people. That stubbornness at the next level, because nothing is going to change. His tactics aren't the problem. That is what he's saying. This guy sees a different game for me, and I'm sorry to be saying it, people. I love the lad and I want him to be nothing but successful, and I hope it does work out, and I hope it isn't the tactics and that, but I can only tell you what I'm thinking, and when I react to that, it really winds me up, because it's just genuine. It's making a mockery of everything. Is he no embarrassed about what's happened? Does nobody care what's happened tonight? Am I just absolutely losing my mind? It's no his tactics. He set us up to be negative and defeatist for every single game, and we went ahead and done something that no Scottish side has ever done. No go a frickin' point. That there is worrying. But I want to know your honest to God reaction to that. That's where I start having issues with the manager. The fact that he's defending his tactics, which clearly has been exposed and destroyed in every single game. I want to know how you feel about that. But I suppose I've moaned enough at the start of the video. Let's actually get in to the actual game recap then, shall we, and discuss what was supposed to be us unleashing the hounds and going out firing. Well, we conceded 3 minutes into the game, people, and the way we did, it's just going to circle. If you look, the longer you watch today's video, you'll see it all piece together, because I'm going to look at this goal, right? We're going to digest it, because we actually started off pretty decent, like a couple of forward passes, blah, 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 but we're undone with simple football that's played quickly. We've been absolutely battered by Celtic not too long ago because a team played quickly, and we still don't switch on and we still don't adjust the teams playing quickly. We're great when we're in the ascendancy, and we're great when we've got all the control, and we're great when we control the tempo, but as soon as someone else threatens to take it over, we look absolutely lost, which shows again for me the frustration back to Giovanni, because there is no adjustment in terms of that. It is plan A and plan B is today plan A better, and it's so frustrating because it's so simple. It's a pass in the middle of the park that gets flipped over. Tavernier horribly defensive here, by the way. He's just cutting the inside far too easily. He can't get near the boy, but still, this isn't just on Tavernier. The ball ends up coming in. It's really poor defended from the two centre halves, but look at Stephen Davis trying to chase Berghuis, or is it Bergwijn? Berghuis, sorry, I believe it was. Just go back and watch that goal. I love Stephen Davis. You all know this, people. I've sat here for years. He's one of my favourite all-time players. This is hard for me to watch my hero, people, sit here and get played at this level when he shouldn't be getting played at his level at the age he's now at. He is nowhere near quick enough, sharp enough, energised enough to get near this boy, and the boy just skips with him. Davis can't get anywhere near because it's a pass back. That's when a midfielder, a centre defensive mid, should be getting in there and nailing that. Davis is about 5 yards behind the boy, full on sprinting, and the boy ends up scuffing a shot. He goes by. Leon King doesn't react, doesn't stick a foot out, and everything. He's a young lad. Shouldn't he be playing at this level? Shouldn't he be? And I feel really bad for him because he's took some tankings over the last couple of weeks. But he's a young lad with a bright future, but it's no ready right now. But he's forced to play. Hopefully he stays mentally strong, continues to build as a player. But horrific for Tav, King and Davis right there. There's nothing else I can say. But it does need to be said, there was a slight response, and a lot of that did come from Ryan Kent, who again has got his critics and everything like that. But if you look at every chance it was created in the game, it did come to Ryan Kent. Now, did he do enough in the game? Was he as aggressive as he should have been? No. But the times he was aggressive, he showed that he is still levels above 90% of that Rangers squad, as he does brilliant down the left-hand side to beat his man. Drifts in across right to the perfect area. Sakala is there. He throws his head on it. And who's on the line to block it? Calvin Bassey. People, you genuinely couldn't write it. And yes, it is there on the plump bags and everything like that. But that's what Bassey is. We used to have that in our back line. A terrific, powerful, pacey, just machine back there. Look at it now. Ladies and gentlemen, did we reinvest the money that we got from Calvin Bassey wisely? No, we never. It's almost perfect symbolism that we should have scored right there, but the person to stop us is someone we sold and didn't replace. There's quite something to be said about that, and again, you didn't like to talk about it, but 10 minutes after it, Leon King tries to do a switch inside his own box. You just didn't do it no matter what level. You just didn't hit it across your own box, big man. I know we were trying to play, and that's probably drilled into him because Giovanni wants to play the horseshoe all the time, but it's poor for the young man. But we actually get away with it. He tries to switch it. It gives it straight to them inside the box. It's a shot that's easily saved by McGregor, and McGregor tries to slow it down, passes out to Stephen Davis. Stephen Davis and Arfield are just at completely different wavelengths. Like, I didn't understand. Like, they shouldn't be playing anyway, and I voiced my opinion in yesterday's preview where they shouldn't have been playing at this level. But at least if you're getting selected, just stay tight to each other and just stay switched on, because we know they're a glaring weakness right now at this level, but we didn't need them gifting the ball away. Davis's pass is terrible. Arfield's not even expected. I don't think he's looking at it unless I'm misremembering. I think he's looked away, looked at it. It gives the ball straight to them. They run through, and they've ended up making it 2-0 to Rangers, and it's truly horrific again, and self-inflicted. I mean, we've conceded 22 goals in the Champions League. I would honestly, off the bat right now, without fact checking, somebody can check and correct me in the comments, I'd say 15 of them are self-inflicted goals. So we've given the goals directly to the opposition. We have beat ourselves, kicking the ball out for a corner that they've scored or anything like that. We've done something stupid that's given them... I'd say at least 15 goals we've gift-wrapped and handed away. And at this level, people, you can't get anywhere near anything like that, because if you've got a weakness at this level, it will be exploited. But when you've got so many weaknesses and so many glaring weaknesses, and you've got someone who's unwilling to change them or unwilling to tweak them or anything like that, you will get picked off. And that's the Champions League campaign. So despite brief moments in the opening 30 minutes of the game, we're 2-0 down, and the game's pretty much over. And Ajax really tried to do that, people, in just 2 minutes after that, as they get down the right hand side again of the right hand side of Rangers. Ends up being a shot from Bergwijn as he just pushes Sands. In fact, I think it starts with them just pushing Davis off the ball. Again, I need to say it, but I need to break it. Boom, just go out of the way and everything like that. You know what I mean? That's what they do. They end up having a shot that's wonderfully saved by Alan McGregor. A McGregor moment, if you will. It was a great sort of point blank save from there, because it looked like it was going in. So we go into half time 2-0 down, and there's just almost a feeling that's kind of what we're expecting, and I hate to feel like that, people. I'm so optimistic, I'm so positive and that all the time, but when honestly, when a half time whistle went, I looked round, I just went, that's what I was expecting, and that's a poor state of mind to be at, no matter what football club you actually support. But anyway, on to the second half we go. There wasn't too many major moments, but we'll get through them very briefly. We have a dangerous set piece at Tavernier Waste again. I don't care what anyone says or what this guy says on a press conference or what this boy is playing injured, alright? I am not stupid. Despite the stupid things I say, I know what I see. And that is Tavernier nowhere near what he is. Not in terms of his output or scoring or going forward or anything like that. His actual movement, people. The fact that he doesn't get into the box regularly anymore. That's what he brought to the club, you know what I mean? The boy's getting ran into the ground, and it showed you that in the last 50 minutes when he was clearly hobbling and clearly limping, looking at the bench, and we wouldn't take him off. Anyone feeling the Morelos vibes for last season? I'm sure that'll be a 2-3 months job when it does eventually break down, but anyway, it's a poor cross for him, but we keep it alive. It falls to Davis, edge of the box. Hit it, son. Hit it. He doesn't hit it. He goes for a cross, and Arfield's too scared as he doesn't get stuck into the goalkeeper. Probably worried he gets sent off like he did versus Hearts. But because he's not went for that ball, it gives the goalkeeper an easy throw. They run down the park, they score, but it's thankfully just offside as VAR rules it out. Now we do go ahead and make a triple substitution, by the way, as Stephen Davis comes off. Again, he played 60 minutes too long and he came off in the 60th minute. Tillman came off and so did Cholak, and that was an embarrassing decision in itself. But I want to talk about Tillman very briefly because once again he's getting criticised and I just didn't get it. If there was one midfielder who actually put a challenge in on the game, it was Tillman. If there was one person who actually matched his man run for run and actually won an individual battle, it was Tillman. But I get it, Davis and Arfield are everyone's fan favourites. This is a 20-year-old kid who's on loan, so it's easier to kick him when he's doing. But a centre-attacking midfielder shouldn't be the driving force in terms of defensive. That's the other two's job to actually be that. Our creative midfielder shouldn't be our defensive anchor. And I don't understand what people want for this laddie. I thought he looked sharp every time he got the boy. Won us a couple of dangerous free kicks. He got us forward when he had to and everything like that. He's a 20-year-old young man who's told to go forward and create. No get back and defend and be a John Lundstrom or anything like that. That's on the other two's job. But again, fan favourites, so they get protected and the 20-year-old gets hung out to dry, which I honestly thought was embarrassing. The only midfielder who put a challenge in the afternoon was our centre attacking midfielder. But a couple minutes goes by and Ryan Kent decides to remember he's actually not bad at football, and he starts to take the game over, creating a couple of clear-cut opportunities where we really should have put the ball into the net. As the ball goes into the mixer and Tavernier's at the back post, because again it was a set piece, one of the few times he was able to get forward, and he drops a header into the 6-yard box. But no one's gambling, no one's anticipating, no one's gambling to go forward in a lot because our clinical striker who lives on that is sitting on the bench. But they end up kicking the ball away and it gets put out. And Arfield actually hits a volley here, to be fair to him. And it's actually a really good effort. It's well saved by the keeper. That was unlucky. But again, it showed you when we're actually direct and fast and put balls into the mix and have people there, we can hurt teams who would have fought it. Kent then goes ahead and makes another major opportunity as again he cuts down the left hand side, puts another ball in, but it's wasted yet again. And then we have one of the worst misses that's probably the perfect representation of our entire European campaign so far this season. The goalkeeper's kind of faffing about with it. Morelos does well, energy, drive, gets stuck in, wins the ball, takes a wee touch round the goalkeeper. Hussey just hits it in the back of it, but it blazes it wide. People, Morelos in 1v1s, eh? But one of the other changes we made was, of course, to bring Rabbi Matondo on his natural position of left wing, where he's actually showed he's actually more capable, especially in the Rangers system. He ends up coming on for Kent and he bursts right away. One of his first touches is just to run. Direct, running, people. And he drives into the box, wins a penalty kick as the boy just has to take him out. Upsets Tavernier, makes it 2-1. You're thinking to yourself, how are we in this game? But we'll take it right now. The skipper's got his first Champions League goal, I believe, and we're on our way. Well, we're on our way to conceding another goal, 44 seconds. We had drawn with another team who had then at that point became the worst team in the Champions League. We couldn't even hold out for 50 seconds, people, before gifting another goal away. And the way we do is horrific. We win the ball back for them at the halfway line. Lowry and Scott Wright putting the pressure on. Scott Wright then tries to do a fancy back heel pass to Alex Lowry instead of going forward with a football. Dissecting her, it's horrible. But anyway, Alex Lowry tries to just react and kick the ball back to him because he's not expecting the ball to get passed backward in that situation. But that springs the Ajax counter-attack, the run-through score. Real easy goal from an Ajax perspective again, where again, Rangers self-inflicted goal. And aye, that's well and truly game, set and match, ladies and gentlemen, in a game of football that Ajax certainly deserved to win, and another game of football where Rangers were really poor. And you want to think about how poor we were in the Champions League this season. Over 3 home matches. I'm not talking about away, because aways can be different and difficult. At home, which is our European bread and butter, we have become a team that has only mustered 8 shots on target over 3 home matches. That for me is nowhere near good enough. We should be having 8 shots on target a game at home, but our system, our way about our business, our tactics, how we do things, isn't it about attacking football? It was about prevention, and all we did was concede goals, but we never adjusted or changed anything. The horseshoe formation killed us in Europe, put us to the worst team ever, and not once did we think about changing the system, and that was to keep it tight, people. We became the worst Champions League side ever, playing defensive, everybody back style formation. I'd rather had people going forward and played 2 into the box and had 2 up front and blah blah blah, and actually been swinging and ending up this, but staying to the same rigid style of formation every single game in the Champions League and getting this is nothing short embarrassing, and questions obviously need to be answered. And it's going to be a very interesting couple of days again at the football club, but that's all I've really got to say. It's one of those things I was expecting a loss. That's why I said it in yesterday's preview video, like it'd been great to say we were going to win the game and everything like that, but I'm expecting it now, not only because of the standard of our team in terms of who's available and who's selected. Like I said it yesterday, as soon as I knew Davis and Arfield, I knew we were going to get overrun in the middle of the park. However, it does need to be said, just everything in terms of our approach, the preparation, the mentality aspect hasn't been anywhere good enough. And again, the ship has been sinking in every game of the Champions League, and you've got to start looking at the guys steering it as well, along with the players who really underperformed overall. And frustrating evening, but thankfully the Champions League is now over. Maybe I can stop wearing the black depressed shirt now, ladies and gentlemen, I can actually start enjoying my football again, because I did not enjoy anything. Not even when Tavernier scored. It was a good moment. It was good to see him scoring, but no, this is not who we are, ladies and gentlemen. But that's everything I've got to say about today's video and today's overall campaign. It was awful performance after awful performance, and you've got to say, did we deserve to become the worst Champions League side ever? Yes, we did, and no hide on our BS and we'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it a hard luck story? We played ourselves into this position, and that's my honest thoughts. And until next time, which of course will be the preview for the weekend. My camera's honestly just ran out there, which is even more embarrassing, but it's probably the perfect representation of everything European football this way. The cameras even ran out now, but until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I think I was saying I've been CJ over 92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.